Okay, so round three of the monster matchups, that being New Udra, the Black Flame, going up against Mitsuzune. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and before we begin, I do understand that there are some things. There is some misconceptions about New Udra, where he ranks, and I'm here to tell you guys that he is in the Apex tier, same as Mizutsune. But first things first, let's talk about Mizutsune himself. Mizutsune is a Leviathan of the water lineage, or of the water power set. No surprise right there, right? I mean, most of the Leviathans are capable of manipulating water or some form of liquid. But Mitsutsune's abilities to manipulate water extend not only to highly pressurized beam-based attacks, but also bubbles. However, these bubbles can actually do a lot more than just cause you to slip and slide, and then, all of a sudden, Felice Johnson's right behind you because you dropped the soap. These bubbles are capable of actually draining the opponent's stamina. Yeah, believe it or not, there are certain color bubbles that are just kind of very interesting and has special properties. Red apparently can drain your, stamina and stuff like that if it hits. And then you also have the green bubble, which I believe if you do a certain thing, it can restore your health. But then again, I do have to look at that. But again, it does affect your health in some way. Now, Mizutsune is actually really no slouch at all when it comes to combat. Being able to fight against Astalos, Zinogre, beings that literally utilize Thunder, which is a weakness. And he's actually able to hold his own solidly against these two. Mizutsune has also been known in the more older world games to be able to fight against the likes of Tiger Rexes, Rathaloses, Rathians, and stuff like that, and is one of the few members of the, Fated Four. And keep in mind, we will be using a neutral territory for both of these monsters, but now let's talk about New Udra. So, New Udra, the Black Flame, is obviously a cephalopod. And this monster is actually ridiculously strong. It's the apex of the oil well basin, meaning it is above any and every monster that does come in there. And this does include, and possibly, the likes of Gravios, which is in the same tier as a Devil Joe and can likely kill it. So, just some, food for thought right there. So, New Udra, the Black Flame, is actually a very interesting monster. It's able to manhandle 3 Ajarkins at the same time. And keep in mind, Ajarkin is not an apex at all. It's literally in the same tier as creatures in all honesty, it pains me to say, it's in the same tier as Kongalala, which isn't an apex at all. It's literally in the bottom tier. Rathians could take these guys. And keep in mind, Ajarkin is below Rathian. That says a lot. She's not even in Apex, and I'm going to definitely have to... that's going to definitely be a video. We got to really discuss Rathian's whole status in the world of Monster Hunter. But after seeing this in combat and hunting New Udra 3 different times, I've actually seen that he is actually above Rathalos as well. Albeit that is a lot more of a difficult fight for him, he is still able to take down a Rathalos. Albeit Rathalos can also take him down, so it's like a 50-50 in those, wild encounters. However, he is above Nerscylla and Gypsaros that obviously enter his territory. The only one questionable is really just Gravios. Now, New Udra does possess the fire ability, which is able to, create miniature explosions, AoE attacks, and, he also is capable of enhancing his physical biology with them because of the oil along his body, which allows him to smooth himself out and actually allows him to agilely move throughout the oil well basin, even possessing a sort of gaseous tube, which is likely his butt. I'm not even joking, that's likely his exhaust port right there. And he's actually able to use this to breathe fire so hot that it can literally burn a Jarkin. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, the location is actually going to be in a neutral area that we can say is between the oil well basin and the Scarlet Forest. Considering there is water in the oil well basin, Mizutsune can be down there And, well, new Udra can also be down there because it will, go down there if it needs to. So without further ado, let's talk about it. Now, I don't think anyone's really going to complain here if I say new Udra is really just stronger than Mizutsune, while Mizutsune is definitely the faster and more agile of the two. In terms of the range capabilities, Mizutsune has a lot more. Yeah, I think that's pretty true here. Mizutsune literally is able to utilize highly pressurized beams of water and simply range bomb opponents that like to get up close and personal. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. Can't new Udra just grab him like he did these Ajarkins? And my answer is very simply this. No. Even with its barbed nails, it cannot pull this off. Mitsutsune's skin and scales are just so slick. They're just so slick that not even Zenogre can hold on to them. And Zenogre's claws are made for grappling and gripping. That's how his claws work. That's how they function. And Mizutsune is just super slick and oily to be, well, no pun intended, right? It's just super slick that he can get out of a large majority of new Udra's grips. And it's very possible he can grab new Udra with his claws because his claws are designed to hold him when he slides around the battlefield so that his traction is normal. Now it comes to the question, can new Udra secrete enough heat to burn out Mizutsune's water supply, or basically burn out its more soap-like coat, right? Its soapy coat, right? Before Mizutsune can capitalize on that water weakness. And this is where we get into that, maybe. New Udra needs to have a way to solidly grip Mizutsune in order to do that. He can't use those fire AoE bomb attacks repeatedly. Again, keep in mind, while these monsters have feats, they are still animals at the end of the day. They do have limitations and stamina. Now, if it came down to who I think would run out first, I would probably say it would definitely be new Udra. Because again, this fight is pretty close. I understand a lot of people do have a bit of a gripe with Mizutsune because they don't see it as powerful compared to the other members of the Fated Four. But keep in mind, the other members of the Fated Four are literally Glavenus, a literal fire-breathing, tail-slicing Carnotaurus, Astalos, a freaking electric crash out, which we obviously saw that Mizutsune can handle and even win against. And then there's Gameth, who's literally Devil Joe in the same category as like Devil Joe, and even beats Devil Joes on probably more occasions than any other creature. Mizutsune being comparable to the Fated Four, and him being like what? Seen as the weak link? Nah, he's not weak at all compared to them. I would actually say he's definitely the best fighter out of all of them, to be kind of honest. He's slick, he's maneuverable, and in all honesty, if I had to really, have a gun pointed in my head and who do I think would win, I would probably give it to the Blackflame. Yeah, I would. I would give it to new Udra more often than not, but it would probably be like a 5 out of 10 between the two. The reason why I do think new Udra would be able to win eventually is because of the properties of both of them kind of canceling each other out, meaning that eventually I do think new Udra would actually be able to grab him. And if he does try it, it's going to have to be a full body grab like he did a Jarkin. And that's going to take a while. But he is capable of getting it because of all the oil and likely the oil and soap mixing with each other. Or at least kind of. We know oil and soap apparently don't mix together unless there's water. But it's very possible that this could work against Mizutsune because his own water could actually wind up mixing the oil with his soap on the ground. And this could change his friction or change the traction of the battlefield. So overall, new Udra does have a clear shot at winning, but also so does Mizutsune with his overall ranged attacks. Because if Mizutsune's water and soap do mix with the oil, this could cause him to slip. This could cause his claws to lose that traction it normally has, as now there's another element coming into play. So, with that being said, while I do think it is a long fight, I do think because they're both going to start secreting a lot more of their, well, special liquids, no diddy, they're going to mix in with each other. And I think that once Mizutsune loses its footing, New Udra is going to be the first to capitalize on it and just simply like octopus bear hug this man. Like just same way it did a Jarkin, except it's probably going to be that body slam maneuver where he just straight up grapples around Mizutsune and just cooks him just like that. But then again, I could also see Mizutsune range attacking him and moving away all that oil so that if he leaps on him, them claws are digging in and he starts tearing into New Udra. But as for right now, yeah, Blackflame taking the first W right here, right now, over a Faded 4 member on this channel. But that's going to be all today, you guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day.